Hi, fifth graders. I'm going to show you a division strategy called multiplying to divide. Let's look at our problem. We have 170 divided by 12. Before I get started, let's make sure we know what we need to do here. What does 170 divided by 12 actually mean? What the problem is asking us to do is to find out how many groups of 12 are in 170. Another way to think of it is if you have 12 groups that make up 170, how many are in each group? Let's start with what we already know. What do I already know about groups of 12? Since my problem is asking me how many groups of 12 are in 170, off to the side, I'm going to write everything I know about groups of 12. For example, I know that 2 groups of 12 is 24. What else do I know about groups of 12? Well, I know 10 groups of 12 equals 120, so I'll write that off to the side as well. All right, let's go back to the problem. How many groups of 12 are in 170? I know there has to at least be 10 groups of 12 in 170 because 10 groups of 12 is 120. So I'm going to write 10 groups of 12 equals 120. That is not quite 170, so I know that I should have more than 10 groups of 12. Let's add some more groups of 12 to what we already have. Let's add 2 more groups of 12. So if I were to put 2 groups of 12, that would give me 24 that I can add to my 10 groups of 12. So my 10 groups of 12 and my 2 groups of 12, I now have 144. Still not 170, so let's keep adding more groups of 12. I'm going to add another 2 more groups of 12. So 2 groups of 12 is 24. I'll add that to the other groups of 12 that I already have, which now gives me 168. I'm going to stop adding groups of 12 because I know that if I were to add another group of 12 to 168, that would give me more than 170. 168 is really close to 170, and it's so close that I can't have any more groups of 12. Let's see how close it is. 170, this would be a good way to double check if you need to stop or keep adding more groups, minus 168 gives me 2. See, and 2 is less than 12, so I know I can't have any more groups of 12. Let's see how many groups of 12 I have. I have the 10 groups of 12 here. Then I added 2 more groups of 12 and another 2 groups of 12. So I have 10 groups, 2 groups, and 2 groups, which gives me 14 groups of 12. So I know that I could have 14 groups of 12 in the number 170. However, I've got to keep in mind that this is not 170. I actually have 2 left over, don't I? So in division, when we have numbers left over because they don't make a full complete group, we call them remainders. And we put the R to symbolize that. So when my question asks me how many groups of 12 are in 170, I know I've got 14 groups of 12 with 2 left over. So I'm going to write my answer as 14 remainder 2.